Right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of good crypto news stuff for you today. And the first thing I want to talk about is that halving. Estimated date, May 11th. Bitcoin rewards cut in half. Really, the only halving that honestly anybody cares about. Ethereum went under its third inning a while back and nobody really cared. Litecoin went through its halving. Again, it didn't really have any kind of effect positively. So I think Bitcoin is really the only halving we should be watching out for. In fact, hey, we even got this little pop-up down here, the halving. It's finally happening. BTC is halving. Visit our website for more information. But the information is that the rewards have. That's about it. So the rally is already starting. 8,800 Bitcoin in just a matter of a few days. We were at like 7,500 a few days before that, 7,000. And so the articles are really starting to propagate and come about. Now, I mentioned this months and months ago that I figured that the price is going to start rallying and would just shoot sort of through the roof, probably not past 20,000 like it did in 2017. I don't think that's going to happen for quite some time. But I did think the price was going to be a little bit higher than it was now, but I guess better late than never. So again, the articles are popping up, which may bring new people in. Google is seeing the highest ever of Bitcoin halving searches on its engine. So it's all just good things. The US Binance CEO says that Bitcoin could have a longer term rally because of the halving. And I agree with that. A lot of people don't really understand what's going to happen with the rally. Nobody really knows. Is the halving going to immediately raise the price? Is it going to drop the price? Is it going to stay the same? And we'll have to see 18 months or 6 months before we even see a price increase, which is sort of my bet, is that it's going to be a longer term thing. This is going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. I think the price is going to keep going up a little bit. We might see a greater than 9,000. Maybe we're lucky 10,000. Which is going to make the whole market go up, all the altcoins and such. But I don't think it's going to have an incredible rally. Something that we're not used to. We're used to these few $1,000 increases and decreases. This is nothing really new. And the halving isn't really having a major effect on that. Something that I didn't mention in my previous video. My previous video was about the halving. And something I didn't mention was that, the first halving, we've seen 50 Bitcoin to 25, which is a huge decrease, 25 Bitcoin per reward. The second halving, we saw 25 to 12.5, again, a 12.5 drop, so slightly less. And then this one, we're going to have, a 6 and a quarter Bitcoin drop, so even less. So I think as the halvings go on and on and on, they're actually going to have less effect on the price of Bitcoin over time, although I think the price of Bitcoin over time is always going to go up. I think the halvings are going to be less impactful as time goes on, because you have to understand that basically 80-90% of the Bitcoin supply is already out there. I think we're at 18 million in the supply, 18.3 million out of 21 million. So we're at at least 75-80%. So the next halvings produce less and less. So that means that the Bitcoin is already out there. It's already out in the exchanges. It's already out on people's wallets. It's already out here, there, and there. So it's not like it's going to have this immediate impact on supply. So for Catherine Coley, I have no idea who that is. It's the CEO of Binance US, but either way, I believe she has some pretty good things to say about the Bitcoin halving. The halving is a momentous occasion, but she cautions that the effect may not immediately make themselves apparent, which I believe it could result in nothing, or it could result in longer tail adoption and a rally out of that. We saw in 2016 the halving itself was not an instantaneous reaction, but 18 months later, we had the largest rally we've seen. Now, I think 18 months is a little crazy to say that. I think 18 months was probably around December 2017, but I think the rally really started in January of 2017, from 1,000 to 20,000 by the end of the year. And I think that was for a lot of the reasons. Again, I said this in my last video, but I'll say it again. I think that the 2017 big rally was because of BitConnect. It wasn't necessarily the halving. It had something to do with it, but it was just part of it. And that BitConnect and Genesis Mining and all these YouTubers and all these referral links and all these Ponzi schemes and these dApps, etc., that were coming out made a huge difference. It has caused everybody to come in. A lot of people tell me during my live streams and on my channel and my comments, etc., that it was BitConnect that actually brought them into crypto in the first place, because they heard a friend or they saw it on a YouTube video or this, that, or the other thing, and everybody got into it, and that's what caused the price to explode. So we have to realize that these halvings are not always an instantaneous explosion of price, and that you actually won't feel that crunch for quite a while, as there's constantly Bitcoin coming onto exchanges from miners and constantly people buying it, putting it on, they're selling, taking it off. So we're not going to see any kind of supply decrease for quite a while. So that's where my mindset is. She continued, me as well. There's often the phrase buy the rumor, sell the news in the markets, where the event itself is underwhelming, but the effects of it having brought so much attention to Bitcoin will possibly lead to a longer term rally later on. If anything, because of the difficulty of producing more Bitcoin and the attention of more people wanting access to it, simple supply and demand. But it's just not going to be coming for quite a while. There's also the coronavirus factor right now that is taking away from the markets and all the financial, collapse that's going on. It's not, too unheard of for people to be selling at least some of their Bitcoin for money right now, as a lot of people are out of jobs and stuff. So I think once this is over, people get back to work. That's going to be after the halving, and then we'll start to see a price increase. But I don't think we'll see a massive price increase, at least probably till December. As you look back at the two previous halvings, if you look at a chart, it was in 2013 or 2012, the first halving, and then 2016. So 2012 and then 2016. The prices didn't actually really start to go up for quite a while. And in 2012, it didn't really go up till about 2013 when like Coinbase, etc. started to come along, and then the rally really occurred. And then in 2016, nothing really happened until, again, the beginning of 2017 when BitConnect and Genesis Mining and all these different, sign-up schemes and things like that started to come along and really started to raise the price. So there's that happening May 11th. But in additional news, I want to talk about KuCoin. Now, KuCoin is an exchange that I used off and on for quite a while for trading. I really enjoy KuCoin because you just put it on there. It's got a 2 Bitcoin a day limit, which if you're taking 2 Bitcoin away a day, well, you probably got a lot anyway. So there's no KYC, and I love just putting coin on there, trading it, and then getting it off real quick. And now it looks like they're in a bit of legal trouble. So if you use KuCoin frequently, I would advise maybe taking your coin off for a little while, maybe putting it on a different exchange or something like that. Overall, the consensus is probably shouldn't have your coin on an exchange anyway, but we all know that everybody is, and I just want to make it apparent that KuCoin is in a bit of ambiguous legal trouble at the moment. So basically Singapore, the court order, due to particulars of the Singapore court system, the full contents of the court order are not publicly available. They basically said to shut down the domain. So KuCoin.com had been locked by a Singaporean court. The KuCoin alleged that our reporting was unverified and untrue. In response, Cointelegraph is now publishing further evidence of its original reporting, and they're posting all this evidence. Now, I'm not really going to go through this because it's honestly a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. They basically didn't sign up properly with KYC, and also they were, operating in the state of New York, which New York, if you're not from the United States, New York is very New York is a very interesting state. Their gun laws are extremely strict. Their gambling laws are extremely strict. Their cryptocurrency exchanges are very strict. Meanwhile, the U.S. KuCoin was one of a fleet of firms that the crypto space targeted by recent action lawsuits in New York's Southern District. To all appearances unrelated to the case in Singapore, the suit in New York alleges securities violations in KuCoin's listing and promotion of a number of tokens during the initial coin offering frenzy in 2017 and 2018. So basically, they're just not legally compliant, and nobody knows where they even operate from. They have operations in Hong Kong, etc. So moving on, the same day that Cointelegraph published the article detailing of KuCoin's primary web domain was locked from being transferred to other owners, the crypto exchange has announced that its platform can be accessed through 2 additional domains, KuCoin.io and Kubi.cc. Anxieties flared on the exchange's Telegram channel during the hours leading up to the KuCoin's announcement, as followers questioned whether Singapore's High Court had indeed issued an order against KuCoin. The channel's administrators shunned their users' questions, repeating that an announcement would be coming soon, as usual. So, announcement coming soon, while refusing to give it an estimated time for publication. Now, KuCoin does a lot of things. Again, you can sign up, or you can just do a no KYC option and get your Bitcoin off. Now, I think that is going to be a thing of the past pretty soon. Now, in terms of decentralized exchanges, who knows? But in terms of these exchanges where they have a real operation going, you could say just about anything like Coinbase or Binance or KuCoin or anything like that, where there's actual people involved in the operation. Those exchanges with non-KYC, with no KYC, where you can just throw a coin on it, trade it, get your coin off, I think are going to be a thing of the past, whether it be a year or 2 from now. I don't think that's really going to exist for very long. And KuCoin is guilty of that. You can simply just go on there, just sign up with an email, throw coin on there, trade, get it off. And I don't think the world governments like that very much. I don't think we really need to talk about that too much. But some replies on the Telegram. Your Bitcoin is safe at KuCoin. You can use a VPN to access KuCoin.com, and you can also visit Kubi.cc. And so somebody says, why should I trust you? Never heard about Kubi.cc. Me either. Why issues with KuCoin.com? Are you admin? No crypto safe on any exchange. Only safe if you have the keys to the wallet yourself. Don't spread fake info. So when you guys make it an official announcement, as I've said, please wait patiently. And then once in a while, the KuCoin bot comes along. As we want to show our gratitude for your activeness on Telegram, we will now reward the top 5 users per week with a small reward of 5 USDT. So $5 in Tether for the 5 most active users on your Telegram. Wow, we better forget all about this legal trouble. So KuCoin in a bit of trouble. They're not really responding to the governments. They're continuing to operate, and their exchanges are being locked. They're denying it, but they have multiple website domains, and they're saying, oh, well, you can access it this way, and nobody knows where they operate from, whether it's Singapore, etc. So again, nothing too crazy, but I would get your coin off KuCoin for the time being. I do enjoy trading on KuCoin, but for now, not going to happen. So just make sure you guys back off on that one. Again, ambiguous and very strange that what's going on here, but basically not compliant. Again, exchanges that have no KYC, I think are just going to be a thing of the past. I think if you operate an exchange and you don't have forced KYC, the governments are going to crack down on you, and they're going to give you a hard time. They're going to issue cease and desist and things like that. It's just not a good idea anymore. It's going to be a thing of the past sooner or later. We all kind of know that. Any good thing eventually is going to get cracked down on, where people are just making tons of money completely anonymously. You know it, I know it, the governments know it. They're all going to shut it down. If you don't have KYC, you can't tax people. It's just not going to happen. We all know it. So final news, millionaire arrested for wife's murder in $10 million Monero ransom kidnap case. So when Norwegian millionaire Tom Hagen reported that his wife had been kidnapped in October 2018, included was a ransom note demanding $10 million worth of cryptocurrency Monero. Now, after Hagen's arrest by local authorities on April 28th on suspicion for the murder of Anne Hagen, it seems that the ransom demand could have been simply a way to cover up the crime. You think? I guess if there's nobody actually communicating back and forth, maybe there was never a ransom to begin with. The case has gripped the nation, and Reuters reported it on April 29th. The police lawyer told a news conference that after an 18-month investigation, the police had now reason to suspect Tom Hagen of murder or conspiracy for murder, has not been yet charged with a crime. However, Police Inspector Tommy Brosk, I don't know, said that there was no kidnapping, no real negotiating counterpart, or real negotiations. There are indications of a will to sidetrack the investigation. Hagen's lawyer said he denied any involvement. Of course, yeah. I hope my lawyer says I deny that too, right? But again, yeah, if there was no kidnapping, you know what I mean? Well, that's hard to prove, but there's no negotiation. There's no counter negotiations or anything like that about what was going on. It's just like, yeah, $10 million in Monero, and it's just no instructions whatsoever. Either you're dealing with a guy who murdered his wife, or you're dealing with really terrible kidnappers who just basically wrote a note like, give us 10 million in Monero with no other instructions whatsoever. And then after like that'd be funny, like you kidnap somebody and you're like, yeah, like we gave him a note, and like, did we give him any instructions on it? Oh man, we forgot that. So it's 18 months later, they just didn't even bother to release or anything. So as one of the richest people in Norway, Hagen is worth roughly $161 million. It's unknown exactly how much he invested in Bitcoin or other digital assets, but was reported missing from their home near Oslo on October 31st. But not the first Bitcoin ransom or Monero ransom case there has ever been. But that's about all the news I have for you guys. So with the halving, again, it's hard to say. So like, buying in now might not be a bad idea, especially in the long term. But I always fear buying in when I see this much green. I never like to FOMO in. It's just like, oh wow, it's up 13%. It's 8,800. I want to ride that. And then you come back and it dumps by a few hundred because it's already been up by 13% and nobody wants to put any more money into it. So be careful on how you guys are trading. This is going to be a tumultuous time, to be totally honest. It's hard to say if on May 11th is the price just going to shoot through the roof, or are people going to realize, hey, nothing actually happened, I'm going to sell my Bitcoin because it's up $1,000 or $2,000 from when I bought it. So of course people are going to, you can't blame people, of course they're going to be selling it, taking those profits. So again, I think it might be a buy the rumor, sell the news thing. We might get up 9,000, maybe even if we're lucky 10,000, and then we're going to see a dump. How big that dump is, of course, we don't know. It might be a couple thousand when the disappointment, I guess, kicks in, when people realize that like nothing actually really happens. Like if you're just a Bitcoin trader or a Bitcoin hodler, etc., nothing is going to happen for you. The only people it's really going to affect right away is miners. And if you're mining at barely profit and it gets cut in half, that's going to be tough for you. So, but apparently, Bitcoin can be mined profitably in the lowest electricity in the world at like something like $3,000, $4,000, and you're still profitable. So right now, I think even if it got cut, most people are still going to be profitable. It's just going to be less, and the price is going to have to raise over time. And it usually takes about 6 months, or who knows, maybe in 6 months something new comes along that really piques people's interest into crypto again and brings everybody back. However, so far, we haven't really seen that in, honestly, a couple years. We haven't really seen that since early 2017 when Genesis Mining and just put money onto it and you get money in return. Except when the price goes down and you're paying the fees and not getting any Bitcoin. Or BitConnects or this, that, or the other thing where just people were just piling in and buying graphics cards. I remember 1080 Ti's going for $1,300 a piece, etc. So it's going to be hard to say if there's ever going to be a rally like that again. Most people are not into proof of work coins anymore. A lot of people shut down a lot of their rigs. There's, of course, still plenty of people mining. But it was like in 2017, there was a new ICO, or there was a new proof of work coin to mine almost every day or week for people to switch. But now it's really about the tech. When is the tech going to be developed? When is it going to be easier to use for people? I think that's what developers have to focus on, is the user interface, the user experience. If you need to have like a grandma test, if you're a group of developers, you need to take it to your grandma and be like, hey, try to figure out how to use this Bitcoin. Here it is. Is this interesting? I'm almost serious with that. There needs to be a grandma test. A lot of people need to use it. If you try to explain Bitcoin or crypto to the average person, like if it's just your neighbor, they don't want to have anything to do with it. They think it's a scam. They think it's internet money. They think it's just deletable. They think there's some central server. They don't understand the concept. It's very hard to convince sometimes to convince people into cryptocurrency. And I think it just needs to get a lot easier over time. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. All my social media and stuff in the description below. Check it out when you get the opportunity. But as usual, I will see you guys next time.